The RPG genre these days now come in forms of massive multiplayer online and remakes, but what I find endearing about Indivisible is the sheer brilliance of its charm and storytelling and the compelling characters that immerses you into this vast world told in a familiar territory. Now, I am Bruce L., better known as TGM Sho'Nuff, and this is my review of Indivisible. Developed by Lab Zero Games and published by 505 Games, Indivisible descends players into an immersive, highly vibrant world influenced by Southeast Asian mythology and other cultures. Now, you control Ajna, the game's protagonist that's a hot-headed, eccentric, but cheery 16-year-old teen that will run into a colorful cast of characters that would aid her on a journey to unlock the secrets of her hidden powers and abilities that lay dormant within her. And I need to remind you, she will be meeting a colorful cast of characters that will aid her throughout her journey. What I love about Indivisible is the sheer brilliance of captivating a world that's non-typical with the sprightly storytelling and quirky character development. As an example, Rosmi reminds me of a colorful Daria from the self-same TV animated series from MTV, if you pretty much remember that at the time. Now, characters like her and Dar would definitely keep you entertained, if not connected. The core gameplay is your not so typical 2D side scroller that focuses on using abilities and features to help you traverse through the terrains in the game. Now, either it's using axes to climb walls, wall-to-wall jumping, or using your bow and arrow to solve some of the puzzles in the world Indivisible. This element is quite refreshing and adds some flavor to the world that you're in. You'll be encountering enemies that are wandering about. Now, how you interact with them will be based on your approach. You can attack them with the use of the weapon for a chance of a preemptive strike, or you could simply approach and initiate battle. Now, in some cases, enemies will attack you, and if you're not careful to block and counterattack, you will not only suffer great damage, but the enemy will also gain the upper hand in the battle. Now, to be honest with you, the battle system is where it's at. Now, as you are whisked away into the combat, you will be pitted against your enemies in a style similar to, believe it or not, Valkyrie Profile. Now, attacks are based on characters mapped on your buttons. So, if Ajna is mapped on your circle button, you can use that up to the allotted number of times she can attack. Now, what's unique about this sort of system direction is how it flows with the way you encounter the enemies and bosses in this game. Each button not only responds as an attack, but as your defense. Now, when an enemy begins to strike, you will have a window to block your opponent cleanly. Now, this is called a clean block. Should you do this in a timely manner, you'll not only quell the uncommon damage, but actually heal from it. Similar to, just defend from such fighting games like Capcom vs. SNK 2 and Fate of Fury, Mark of the Wolves.
Not so fast! Not gonna happen!
Stat growth is rather unique as you don't loot for weapons and armor to allocate to your characters, but instead you find and collect these jewels known as ring souls, which will be your means of leveling your offense and defensive power and abilities. These will be spread throughout the game, and some of them you will have to obtain through challenging platforming. While I find the combat direction to be refreshing and heavily nostalgic to the senses for those who truly were in love with Valkyrie Profile, I'm most concerned about the accessibility of the game. If you're not familiar with the genre or never played an RPG before, you might be turned off by the difficulty and said platforming of the game. Now, keep in mind this is not too terribly difficult. However, it's just something to keep in mind. But the selling points here is the fantastic artwork presentation in Indivisible, as well as the animation with rich colors and the oh my god music by legendary music composer Hiroki Kikuta, who is widely known for his contribution to my favorite game, my favorite RPG of all time, one of my favorite RPG games of all time, The Secret of Mana. Overall, while the difficulty does have its rough spots and the battle direction can frustrate players to the brim at times, because you'll need to possess some true reflex skills for you to rebuff some of the attacks in the game, and the platforming can be downright annoying at times, it's never too bad or overly ridiculous for you to complete. You can get through this game roughly in about 30-40 hours, unlock additional encounters, and explore upon unique ways of dealing damage to the enemies and bosses with its intricate combo system. For that, I'm giving Indivisible a solid 8 out of 10. Indivisible has a lot going for itself, and I highly suggest this game. So while it's not groundbreaking, it has classic riddle all over it. So if you're looking for something just absolutely amazing and to add to your collection, Indivisible does not disappoint in that department. And I definitely recommend this game for anyone that chooses to play a unique, charming classic title. What's going on, coolies? I just wish to thank you guys for tuning in to this presentation. Now, if you do like this video, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, stay in the know when the content is being uploaded onto this channel. Until then, by His grace and His name, Sho'Nuff, and thank you for watching.